All right, everybody. Welcome in and welcome back. Season 4, episode 16, aka our 127th show. Andy, and our last episode for a couple of weeks due to a little vacay from yours truly.
Yes, very excited for you and the vacay, not because of the podcasting, but because you'll get a nice needed break in the sunny part of Mexico.
Yes.
So very excited for you on that.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you can maybe meet what was Danny Rojas's character's
Cristo Fernandez.
Cristo Fernandez. Maybe you get a chance to see him in a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I have not, since that day, I have not seen any post of him in Manzanillo again. So I have a hard time believing he's going to be there, for one. And two, I think I ruined that vacation spot for him.
Potentially. You may have ruined it. I may have done it too, because I remember I sent him a picture of like me and of like looking like him. And I think that really freaked him out, being like, who the hell is this? Like Yahoo, I need to get away from here. So that's it. But a great time. So Paul, this is going to be a tough podcast for me.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad you are going to start this off to give me a little bit more of a break.
We've got a lot of drama, Andy. So let's get to the drama. Barcelona in a Barcelona derby, actually, against Espanyol. A lot of talking points going into this match, Andy, because, as I'm sure you know, Joan García played for Espanyol last season. Barcelona got him. And so there were a lot of Espanyol ultras and fans posting terrible things on social media leading up to this match. They were calling him Judas. They were printing his face on money, basically saying he just left for the money. There were people saying that they were going to injure him. And, oh, man, there's a lot. Espanyol actually had to put up a special net behind both goals to keep him safe. Wow. And there was a lot of, I don't want to call it bad energy, but there was a lot of energy going on in that stadium.
Yeah, a lot of hostile. Sounds like hostile energy.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Yep. So, after one of the goals Barcelona scored, there were a ton of water bottles being thrown on the field. At one point, Balde picked one up and looked like he was about to wing it at a fan. It's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was honestly very nip and tuck throughout, over 3/4 of this game, Andy. And it was a not so very comfortable win for Barcelona. It did end up being 2-0, and the scoreline looks better than what the game showed, but Barcelona didn't score their first goal till the 86th minute.
Okay, I was going to ask if it is not so comfortable. I imagine those were very late goals. So sounds like it took a while to just kind of get something happening. Was it like a long time coming for you thought for Barcelona, or was it the one chance you guys were able to create and you took it?
I think it was more the second. Where we didn't create a ton of chances. I mean, we had some. But Espanyol played a very good defensive game. They put a lot of people behind the ball. I saw something on Instagram the other day where Koundé had the ball in the box and he was looking for an option. Barcelona had 3 attacking players in the box. Balde was at just outside the 18, but Espanyol had 10 people in the box.
Oh, jeez.
So, it didn't feel like they were necessarily parking the bus. I think they were just getting numbers back defensively well and then breaking out when they could.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very nip and tuck. Joan García played, I think, the best game that he has played, which, all things considered, everything going into the match, all the noise I'm sure he heard surrounding it, it was incredible. You need to go back and watch the highlights, Andy, if you can, because it was it was a grade A performance. And listeners, I would highly recommend you go and watch the Joan García highlights from that match. At one point, Andy, he makes a save and the rebound kind of goes straight out, kind of hard, because it was a hard shot at him. And he's trying to go out and get it, but Gerard Martin gets in his way. And so rather than like trying to go around Gerard Martin, he just pushes Gerard Martin into the ball. And like he and the attacker actually end up hitting, and Gerard Martin makes the block. But after the match, Gerard Martin told him like, "Hey, if you're gonna have a man of the match performance, you can push me anytime you like."
Yeah, heck yeah.
it
It's
was funny.
it's something you don't see all the time, but I think it's a very soccer thing in that the goalie really can and does. Great goalies really can and do just not care. Their whole thing is the ball. So even if their defender they feel is in the way, a teammate is in the way from them
Yep.
securing the ball, they'll go through in that. And
Yep.
I don't know. I like seeing that. I like
Yeah.
seeing that dedication towards that idea of nothing's get the ball is not getting past me. I will do whatever it takes to make sure that ball does not get in the back of my net. I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. So
absolutely.
good for him.
I mean, he stopped a 2-on-none at one point in that game. Where, I mean, the Espanyol player should have laid it off to his teammate and he would have had a pretty easy goal, but he tried to fake a shot and dribble around Joan García, and Joan García reached out and got it with his thumb to knock the ball away. Then he also had a point blank save on a header where he basically flashed his arm up like this and raised it with his thumb to just put it over the bar. I mean, last week I mentioned that he's a top 5 goalkeeper in the world. I think that's cemented now.
Yeah.
And
he's performing it definitely.
Yeah. I'm just super impressed. And yeah, he won man of the match as he should have. But when it came to the goals, Andy was very much a substitute, kind of heavy presence in the goals. In that 86th minute, Fermín Lopez gets a ball played into him and he plays on a half turn, gets around the Espanyol defender, takes people on, finds Dani Olmo at the top of the 18, who one time looping shot, top bins.
Wow.
Just absolutely perfectly placed ball for the first goal. And then in the 90th...
Great to hear his name get on the score sheet for sure.
And the crazy thing was after he got hurt in the Atletico Madrid game, it was like, man, is he going to have surgery? He's going to be out for months. But no, they just put a brace on his shoulder underneath his jersey, and he was fine. He was very ginger with his left shoulder for sure. Yeah. But I mean, he played well. And then, 4 minutes later, Fermín Lopez... so Lewandowski flicks a header onto Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal, with his back kind of to the goal, plays a one-time chipped through ball pass to Fermín Lopez that is just out of the reach of the defender as both of them are running full sprint. Fermín takes on the challenge of the defender, gets around and basically gets to the end line, finds Lewandowski, who looks like he tries to do a controlling touch to himself, but ends up chipping it up into his own chest/stomach and then gets the ball into the net from that touch. It was a really weird goal, and Lewandowski smiled like, yeah, I didn't try to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, funny. Just a wild sequence. But I mean, Fermín had 2 assists. Dani Olmo scores off the bench. Lewandowski scores off the bench. Fermín was off the bench. I have some thoughts. I'm very happy with the subs performance, and Joan García played great. Our defense has to get a whole heck of a lot better. I mean, this is going to be a weekly thing, right? I think Hansi needs to stop trying to be cute and start playing Raphinha in his left wing position.
Okay.
Playing him as the center attacking mid, that number 10 role is not working.
Okay.
He doesn't possess the ball well enough. He doesn't have enough experience playing in that role. And in a game against a very defensive team, you need midfielders to possess the ball. I mean, Pedri didn't start the game either. There was a huge gap in the middle of the field. And I think it was some of the reasons why Barcelona were getting caught on counterattacks because they didn't have anybody there. Yeah. So that's the second thing. And honestly, I think Rashford was still on holiday, Andy. With how he played.
Was he actually? He's been known to be late to
no,
things.
He was present. He was present at the game. He didn't look like he was all there. He was making terrible passes. His touches to get around defenders were very very long, way too far out in front of him. Just wasn't all there. So I don't, and I get it. I know we've been kind of nursing Dani Olmo and Fermín back into these roles, but I think Fermín's there. He's shown it. I think honestly, Fermín is at least a top 5 attacking mid player in the world right now. His run
Mhm.
of form has been absolutely incredible. What he brings to Barcelona, the way that he plays the game, he goes all out defensively, offensively. He's kind of the go through, or like the player that the play goes through.
Mhm.
And I think it helped, honestly, him coming on a little bit later in that game, though, because players were tired, so he found more space. I
Yeah.
think he struggles in games against defenses that park the bus. I think Dani Olmo is better in those sort of games. So I think they're both kind of key players for Barcelona to keep moving forward if they
Oh, for
can.
sure.
But I mean, he's incredible to watch. He's so fun. I mean, the combination, if we can have a starting midfield trio of Pedri, Frankie de Jong, and Fermín Lopez, like, we are so set.
Yeah, that's world
So
class. That's a world class midfield right there.
yeah,
Like that, teams will find it hard to kind of. I feel they just find it hard to get control of midfield. Any team I think would have trouble with that. Like
yeah.
Arsenal's, Napoli's,
PSG's.
PSG's, Bayern Munich. I would say even Bayern Munich's on that cities. I think it's definitely up there. I haven't seen enough of them
Yeah.
to be honest to kind of like get that same one, but just I know our conversations with Pedri and Fermín, it's their top players.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you'd
I'm
be in good
excited.
hands there.
I'm excited. I think we're getting healthier. We still have some holes that we need to fill, but we're getting healthier. So I like where we're at. We're in a better spot than we were last season. Champions League a little bit less, but in the league definitely in a better spot. And we kind of did the same thing that we did last year. We started to get healthier around this time. We started to play better. I'm not going to say we played great against Espanyol, but Espanyol this year, Andy, is the 5th or 6th best team in La Liga.
Oh, well, so they're a good team. They're a really good team.
They are, and that away with all of the hostility that was surrounding that game, I think Barcelona did great. And I think I forget his name. It's like AA9 Skills or A9 Skills or something on social media. He runs a soccer podcast, soccer shows, live streams, whatever. But he said it best where these are the games that win you a season.
Oh, for sure.
It's not the one-offs, the two-offs against Real Madrid. It's the games against these tough opponents that give you your best. And if you drop points, it can really be detrimental in a title run. But if you win the game, nobody goes back and goes, oh, they played a close game against Espanyol. They didn't play their best. It's like the results what matters. The only time they have those conversations is if the game's lost. So,
definitely,
it's one of those things where, you take the punches of the other teams, but if you still come out on top, that is all that matters. So I'm happy, Andy. I'm happy.
Yeah. Because I would love to be able to kind of go and mark like whenever team, like where you think someone had a superior performance over the other team, and see how many times a team does that. Because I'm sure like the very dominant teams have been able to do that, but I don't know of any team in any sport who's able to dominate every single game.
Yeah.
For however long, or for the full season. That's not possible, I think.
Right.
So it's how you react when you are not playing well. Can you still find a way to get a goal and defensively lock it down? So if you guys are doing that, that is good. As long as those performances don't dip to a point or plateau, that's the only thing. But it doesn't sound like that. Once injuries get healed, I think you guys would be in a really good spot.
Yeah.
So
and we got to figure out the defense too, but we're going to get to that when we talk about the January transfer window segment, Andy.
Nice. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of drama, speaking of teams not playing their best necessarily, Andy, I want to hear a little bit about United.
Well, we're all over the news today. We played on the weekend. That result didn't really matter. It was a 1-1 draw. The biggest news is that our head coach, Ruben Amorim, has been sacked by United. It wasn't a Enzo Maresca mutual agreement. This was very much United saying, pack your bags. And I mean, I woke up this morning. I did not expect it. I looked into Instagram and I saw that Full Time Devils had posted something, and they said that Ruben Amorim's sack had nothing to do with performances, and I was like, wait a minute, what?
No, no, there's no way.
It had it had it had it did not have anything to do with the results. That's once we will get into it. I
Yeah,
have my thoughts on that.
yeah, same.
And that's because that's what the fan channel was saying. The United's PR team is saying, results just weren't cutting it. That's not. I mean, that's not true. They were saying that all these other things, but the fact of the matter is what had happened, at least from what I'm hearing from different sources and different people saying, is that on Friday, Wilcox, Jason Wilcox, and Ruben Amorim got into not like a fist fight, but they got a heated conversation where I think Amorim was perceiving Wilcox's interfere seemingly perceiving Wilcox's suggestions or what have you as micromanaging him. And Ruben Amorim clapped back saying that he is the manager, he is not the coach, which is a very important distinction in the world of football. Why that's important: a coach just coaches the team to get performance. A manager has more say in terms of the tactical setup
Yeah,
and the and transfers. And that's what I'm hearing most. And what I'm hearing is that the decision to sack Amorim was actually on Friday. They
mm,
just decided to announce it on after the results. So even if he had won against Leeds, they would have done. I think would have done this.
interesting.
Um, yeah.
Interesting.
So
I also have a hard time believing, Andy, though, that the result against Wolves didn't play any part in this decision. I have to believe that
no,
it played at least a little bit of a
I
part of the decision.
I don't. I honestly I don't think it did
Mm,
because that was not as damning as Grimsby. That wasn't as
mm,
damning as even before because it was still a draw. You're still getting, in a way, still getting points. I think more of the problem was just the overall record. Like you can't lie when you look at the numbers. Ruben Amorim has not. His record is the worst record out of all of United's managers post Ferguson in the
mm.
Premier League era. It's by far. I think he maybe only won a third of his games, if lucky. Like it's just not. It's not tenable. That's not tenable. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
the results weren't there, and I think in hindsight, this is looking like, yep, this was seemingly going to happen, but I still think it's the wrong call. The way in which this is done was
Mm-hmm.
wrong, is my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
the other thing with that I think of too, Andy, is where United sits right now. I know that results, especially at the end of last season, weren't great, but like you're sixth in the table.
mhm, we're
Like compared to where you guys were at last year. And I think if you
mhm,
look, if take out Grimsby, take out Wolves, take out the Leeds United result. Oh, I think if you look at United's past 7, 8, 10 performances, I think United has been on the up as far as progress with the team. Maybe not
performance.
results.
Yeah, performances. Yeah, but I think that's the problem. That's the problem that Ruben Amorim had, is just the results just weren't there
Mm-hmm.
because the performances were there. We were looking better, more cohesive. But again, when you win 3 of your last 11 games, you can't. Someone made this point. I see this point, and that's ringing true. It doesn't make it hurt less, but it's true
Mm-hmm.
that actually no. This is Wayne Rooney. You have to get credit in the bank. You have to
Yeah.
show that, like, okay,
Yeah.
yes, he's winning more matches. Like Ruben Amorim had to win more matches for him to say that. Everything that Ruben Amorim said makes sense to me, and I do believe him, and I do agree with him. I think it's just the results just weren't there. The goals weren't coming when they needed to come, or the haphazard defending, the individual mistakes. Those things added up to cost him.
Mm.
I think that's the case. The reason why I don't like this, partially yes, biased. I did really think, and I do think Amorim would have been the person to get United back because he had the charisma. He knew and understand how to develop the culture. But when this for me falls on INEOS more than anybody else. This doesn't fall on Ruben Amorim because you have to believe in your system. Everyone just hit him over the head with like, oh, it's always his system. It's always his system. It's always his system. And that's what they'll do. They'll always find something to hang over your head. And that to me is the problem there. I'm realizing that my battery's going down. So
Same.
I still have to continue my thought.
Same.
But great. So I'll pass it on to you and get your thoughts if you thought this was the right decision. And then you can hand it off back to me so we can make sure we both charge our computers before both of us die on here.
Yeah. Well, mine's more my phone. So if my video turns off, it turns off. But I think I didn't know about the issue with, who did you say it was? Jason Whitlock?
Wilcox. Yeah.
Wilcox. I think Jason Whitlock is a sports TV personality. But I didn't know about that. So I'm going to go from like not knowing that piece of information because I didn't learn about it until like I said, you mentioned it 5 minutes ago. So
yeah,
I up until learning that, I did not think that it was the right decision because I think you have to take recency bias out of it with the last couple of results. If you have a team that finished, remind me what you guys finished last year. Was it 14th or 16th? 15th.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You finished 15th last year. You were a handful of points away from the relegation zone, right? You know, and you are now top 6. And you are definitely fighting. You are in position to make a run at top 4 and get back into Champions League football. Overall performances are up. Results aren't there yet, which, I'll agree with. But overall, with how the team has progressed over just the course of this year, I think the team is on the rise. So
yeah,
I think the timing of it, I think, is horrible. I get the issue with Jason Wilcox. That's a different piece of information. And if that's a huge problem that, the board and whatever else can't deal with, and that's a whole nother thing. But you have basically just destroyed this season. All of the progress that has been made, all of kind of the bits and pieces that the players have picked up on how to improve and play Amorim's system and, come together more as a team, which is like what I have seen watching these games over the course of this season is they're starting to come together as a team. United is looking more like a team and less like a hodgepodge of, personalities and players, right? That it's gone. It is gone now. So, I get that he had this issue, but I mean, in my opinion, like Xavi and Joan Laporta had a huge issue in his last season, right? They were going to call it quits, but they managed to make it work at least to get through the end of the season. And then you can hit the reset button once the season's over. Like these players, their development and everything going on now is so stunted over this second half of the season. Like to me, it's just the timing. Like I don't necessarily disagree with the decision, but it's the timing.
Yeah. Well, because again, so the story was that what really did it was that Friday meeting, and then you saw it in the press conferences, both pre and post Leeds, where he straight up calls out the board and says, "Board, you do your job. I am the manager. I'm here to be the manager for 18 months, and then we'll see." So like already there, he's calling the board out, and that's always going to get you fired. It just will. I guess the problem that I have is that INEOS should have known this, and they should have foreseen that this could happen in their relationship with Amorim, because, okay, you're getting an individual who or who is so adamant and so vocal that he is so adamant about the style that he plays. Like that is like that's probably the first thing you know about Amorim is like he is wedded to his philosophy, not his formation, his philosophy.
Yeah.
He's very vocal to the point like he has had those like outbursts in um previous press conferences. You know what he's like.
Yeah.
To fire him because you as an individual, if you're Wilcox or whomever in the board, to go to Amorim and saying, actually, like, we don't agree with your philosophy, you need to now change your philosophy, and then all of a sudden expect that he's not going to then say inflammatory things or whatever.
Right.
How did you not know this? How did you not foresee that this would be a thing? Because this is what everyone's batting again Amorim over with. This is like his tactical inflexibility. He was too wedded to his philosophy, which, like, to like that point, yes, I think he was too. If you look at the results, he was too much like that. Yeah. But I completely see why he did, and I understand and empathize with him more, being like, no, this is the way I know how to win. If I deviate from this, like, you're going to get the Eric Ten Hag treatment, where it was like, you tried to implement your philosophy, then you switched everything, and then people said, oh, the results are better. Now I don't need to give you players. Whereas Amorim was saying, I need these players to get to this next point. Yeah. So it's just it's all a shambles. And like the biggest lesson I'm taking away from this is like, I just can't trust INEOS. Their recruitment's good, but like I can't trust them. They're going to find the right manager, because we're just going to be like Chelsea, team that's going to be talented, recruited well, but we're not going to have anything to muster besides maybe like a European trophy here and there. Like that's what I'm getting from this. So
I think I saw something, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but under INEOS, I don't think a manager has completed a full season.
No, not a full season yet under United, because
like from one season, like a full 2024 to 2025 or whatever it might be.
Yeah,
which that's a problem. That is a systematic problem.
That's 2 in a row, and you were brought in to solve these problems and to not do these things. So, because like what I'm noticing is that there seems to be a thing revolving with Wilcox, and the big three of Omar Barada, Ratcliffe, and Wilcox, where if you don't agree or let them do what they want to do, you're gone. So case in point, Dan Ashworth.
What's the point of a manager then?
Well, it's not, because the whole thing was that Amorim was the head coach, so that wasn't making those. But like, who of a high profile is going to say, "Yeah, I'll just be a coach"? No, you're not going to get a good profile manager. No. And then, but if you don't get a good profile manager, I don't think you're going to get players to respect you for what you've done in the game. Yeah. So the only thing I can see is if you get a club legend like Darren Fletcher's coming in, you maybe get Ollie. Maybe you get Ollie in, but like I don't know if that could even work. Maybe you get Ruud van Nistelrooy in, someone that it's like you have. But I don't even like that, because I've seen this happen with the Yankees. You get someone that's like so beholden to the upper room, and then you have no other voice to kind of say like, "Hey, Wilcox, Barada, Ratcliffe, I think we should go another way," and they're just going to have their own say. And so that's what I'm really concerned about. Is it's now, and as opposed to the Glazers and getting with the Glazers, it's now getting with these three and being in line with them. If that doesn't happen, then we're screwed. So Yep. But like you said, I don't know what this means for the rest of the season. Players are not happy from what I'm seeing on social media.
I mean, other than Garnacho, did you see he liked the message?
I did see that, and like, I'd love to know what his playing time is like. What's his playing time like? Is he winning Premier Leagues now?
No.
Is he winning Champions Leagues now?
This year. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
So yeah.
What a punk.
He would have been super dud if it didn't hurt me so much. But yeah, I don't know. It's what could have been, but it's also like there was nothing ever to prove it on. I think that's like the sad story with this is like Amorim had everything to make it, and was getting there and was having that support, but the results just didn't show. And maybe the results would have shown, but I don't know. Can't say that now. So
yeah,
we'll move on, because I think I've talked ad nauseum about that for that. So we'll move forward with the show. We'll head into the vibe check, Paul. skipping over Bundesliga because they did not have any games. So what happened with the rest of La Liga, man?
Yeah. So with La Liga, Real Madrid, it's a little good and a little bad. Results
Mm,
wise, Andy, it was good. They ended up roasting Real Betis 5-1. They have a
nice.
new kid on the block, Gonzalo Garcia, new number 9. He netted a hat trick. But the
Mm.
reason that he was playing is Mbappe could be out 3 to 4 weeks with a left knee sprain.
Owie.
So that's the bad, especially with the Super Copa coming up, the first title that La Liga teams can win for the year, or I should say for the season, and the
Mm.
year actually. So, but
Well,
the other bad thing is Andy in a 5-1 drumming. I don't really
mm.
know what that tournament is officially, but
I think
anyway,
I think it's drubbing. Whatever, doesn't matter.
yeah. Vinicius Jr. could only net a yellow card. Dude, he is
Oh
done.
man.
He is washed. Get it? I wouldn't even start him at this point. I would put Rodrigo over there, find somebody else to play on the right side, and let Gonzalo Garcia play in the middle till Mbappe comes back. I mean, I think he's mentally checked out. I think he is so self-interested, so selfish with trying to prove that he's one of the best wingers in the world, that he should be in the Ballon d'Or conversation. He has no desire to play team ball, and it is showing.
Yeah.
It's a mess. It's an absolute mess there with him. So
Yep. It looks like he's going to Saudi Arabia if he's going to go anywhere. So
yeah, dude,
because I
bye.
don't know who else will take who would take him on that. So
Yeah,
yeah, we'll see.
yeah.
We'll see you
So
later.
yeah, and then Villarreal, they ended up ejecting Elche 3-1. Atletico Madrid drew Real Sociedad 1-1. Andy. So what that means with the standings: Barcelona's in first with 49, Real Madrid second with 45. Villarreal is up to third with 38 points, and still the 2 games in hand. Andy.
Oh
And
boy.
Atletico Madrid, with that draw, dropped to fourth on technically goal differential at this point with the 38 points. So
Wow.
it is not looking great for Atletico Madrid. They've just been so up and down in the league this
Yeah.
season. I think they're focusing mostly on Europe right now because they have played pretty well in the Champions League competition. So maybe trying to, still put in an effort in the league, but trying to focus on maybe the Copa del Rey and the Champions League to try to see if they can muster up some trophies this season. But
Yeah, that'll
we will
probably be
see.
their only route. Yeah, disappointing. Sounds like a very disappointing season for Atletico Madrid. Maybe they turn it around, but I don't know if I see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they'll have to make those changes there. Heading over to Italy, Paul. Serie A is getting a little bit interesting because now we have a new individual club in the top 4, and that is going to be Juve. Of Juventus. So what had happened is that Juve has actually gone on a 4-game unbeaten run. They've won
Wow.
3 of their last 4 matches and drew their previous match, and they've actually been able to catch up to Roma, who fell to Atalanta 1-0 this past weekend. So now Juve has taken over Roma's spot in the top 4. Napoli, AC Milan and Inter all won their matches. Interestingly enough, Napoli played a game of 10 versus 10 with 2 red cards happening. So lots of space to make things happen, which I'm sure Rasmus Højlund really enjoyed, and our marauding Scotsman enjoyed well of Scott McTominay. So with that, it looks like Inter have 39 points, Milan 38, Napoli 37, and Juve with 33, beating Roma. Not on points, but on goal differential to take that 4th spot. Meanwhile, in Cosenza, in our most recent match, which was today, Cosenza lost 2-0 to Monopoli. Just a bad day to support both United and Cosenza
No.
today. So all checking in there. Paul, what's happening in the Premier League? Because I've just been so inundated with the Ruben Amorim fallout. I don't know what else is going on.
Yeah. I'll take it over for you. Hopefully let you wallow in whatever.
Oh, don't let me
sorrows
wallow,
you
but
may.
it's already there. It's already there. But thanks.
You're welcome. So yeah, at the top, Arsenal, your favorite club, Andy. They barely beat Bournemouth, but it was a win. That's all that matters. 3-2. Liverpool ended up fighting Fulham to a 2-2 draw. Man City drew Chelsea 1-1, and then Aston Villa Chuck Norris Nottingham Forest 3-1.
I was wondering how that worked in the notes because I said Norris and I was like, what? Who is this? A new one is what's happening
Yes, it
here.
is.
It's been Chuck Norris, so I
Yep.
get it. I get it. I
Yep.
get it.
Yep.
I like it.
And Wolves ended up getting their first win of the season, Andy, by waxing West Ham 3-0. What that means for the points: Arsenal clear cut first, 48. City behind him with 42. Aston Villa tied with City at 42 as well. And then Liverpool in a far off fourth place with 34 points.
Wow. So it's looking. I don't know. This is kind of a big weekend for Arsenal, I think, because now they are able to expand it out to 6.
Yep.
Still potential, but for City or Villa, even Villa could catch up. But
yeah,
who knows, man? Who knows? Anything can happen. Injuries can happen. Once Champions League kind of revs back up, that can completely change things. But we'll see how that goes. Champions League was idle, obviously, so I think the big thing that people are looking at is the January transfer window now that it is slammed open.
Yep.
I don't know how else this is a reverse of slammed shut. Is punched open, let's say. Let's keep it there. What's Barcelona looking at?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for January anyway is Joao Cancelo, who played for Barcelona a couple of seasons ago at the right back position. I think had pretty good success under Xavi, all things considered. He has been interested in coming back to Barcelona. He wants to come back in this transfer window. So talks have been going on. They're getting serious, I would say. And I think the interesting part is Hansi kind of played it down, being like, we're not just going to take him just because he wants to be here. Like, it has to make sense for the club. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude, this could be your ticket for this season anyway, to figuring out the issues with the center backs. Because like I've mentioned before, Jules Koundé is a center back by trade. He plays a great right wing. Right back, I should say. He plays a great right back. But if you can bring somebody in who you can slot in that right back spot, and you don't have to do it every game, you can still play your combo of Koundé on the right, Balde on the left, and García with whoever you want to pair with him in the middle. That's fine, But to have another option back there, because like Eric Garcia can play back there, but he's been filling in so much for the injury-riddled midfield. It's like, you can't rely on him to play that right back position consistently because he has to play so many other spots on the field.
Right. He has to be that utility. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, if you have the chance to bring in this guy who's had success with Barcelona, who is known for getting forward and being a very good attacking right back in a system where he can just go hog wild and crazy and, give Barcelona opportunities to score goals, I don't see why. Like, he's going to have to take a pay cut. I think he said he's willing to do that. There's talks about maybe the Saudi club wants Lewandowski for this next half of the season as like a, throw in as well. I don't know if we're willing to do that. There's a whole thing, right? You know how it goes. So, but if we can secure him, I would not give up Lewandowski for him personally. But if we can secure him, that would be huge. And, it's all things considered on who you can actually get in a January transfer window. It'd be huge. I still think if I'm Hansi Flick, I'm blowing up Inigo Martinez. I'm like, hey, bro, like I mentioned it last week, like any chance that you want to come back and play half a season for us, like just like let us loan, like let us get you as a loan just for these next 4 or 5 months, see what we can do. Again, if the interest isn't there, it's not, it is what it is. But I think he'd be a good fix for Barcelona as well. But
yeah, I think so. Just to get benched, like for you guys, I think would just be huge, and he's good cover for it too. So it's not like it's a downgrade too much.
Exactly. And then I think the interesting thing, it's not for January, but it's for next summer. Leon Goretzka, who's a midfielder for Bayern Munich right now, has history playing for Hansi Flick for the national team. He's actually reached out to Hansi Flick, and he's going to be on a free transfer at the end of this season. So he has reached out and said, hey, I want to come play for you. So I don't know. That was big news. That was big news.
That's big news, especially if it's on the free after the contract's up, just to go as the free agent. So that's that's pretty powerful right there.
Yeah.
So
Can you even think about January transfer window with all the drama right now, Andy?
It's been honestly, there's no talks. There are no talks.
Yeah.
There were no talks. Never talks. No talks ever.
Yep.
So yeah, we're stuck.
Yep.
As we are. So let's get unstuck and move to the next segment of the Super Sub and Super Dud. Paul, who do you have as your Super Sub? It looks like you have more than one.
I've got 4. I have a problem, but I mean, they were all instrumental. I mean, Fermín came in the game, like I mentioned earlier. He had 2 assists, one to Danny Olmo and one to Lewandowski. Olmo goal scorer off the bench, Lewandowski goal scorer off the bench. I mean, it's what you want in your super subs. You want super subs feeding super subs for super goals. I mean, to get super results. So
that's true. And again,
then
the Super Sub podcast, it's out. It all works out, comes full circle.
Exactly. And then you got to go Joan García for his performance. I mean, he was just standing on his head. I know he wasn't a super sub, but Barcelona have 4 straight 2-0 victories. It's the first time since I think the 2023-2024 season that Barcelona has 4 straight results in the league. I mean, if you count Copa del Rey, with 4 clean sheets in a row. And I think you got to go back to the 2021-2022 season across all competitions where Barcelona had 4 straight clean sheets. So for all our defensive woes, I mean, it's Joan García. He's standing on his head right now. So it's just one of those things where if you have a great goalkeeper, you can make a bad defense look pretty good.
Yep. It does. It covers over a lot of cracks. So that is the good thing there.
Yep.
I'll say there was one super sub from United, and that was Joshua Zirkzee putting in a better performance and just playing some nice one touch, and actually was able to get the assist for our only goal against Leeds United. So that was crucial for just our position in the top 6.
Yep.
Paul, you've heard my super dud.
Yep.
Who's yours?
Yeah, I'm going for Rashford still mentally being on holiday. I don't know what the heck that performance was. And I'm gonna give it a little bit to Hansi here, continuing trying to play Raphinha out of position. I don't think it's the answer. I think, let him be amazing on that left wing, use Rashford as a bench piece. That's why we signed him. That's why we got him on loan. He's been nice at times, but he's not been a consistent performer. Play your Fermín Lopez, your, Danny Olmo off the bench through that a center attacking mid role. I mean, honestly, even if you want to play Lamine Yamal through the middle and put Raphinha in his more natural right wing position, do that. Because, I think Lamine has a lot of growing to do on the ball, but he's way better on the ball than Raphinha is. Raphinha is the best in space. Like, let's play to the strengths. And it hasn't bitten us yet, but I don't want to get to the point where it bites us in the butt, especially in Champions League. And then we go, oh crap, we should start trying to figure this out. It's like, no, let's iron this out now.
Start trying it now, so like you guys can have a plan B or a plan C and just kind of change things up. I completely hear that. So I know I had said who I said you already know, but because I'm just wanting to confirm with everyone, my super dud is, I may mention INEOS, but it's always and forever will be the Glazers as long as they own Manchester United. Because who let INEOS in? The Glazers. Why are we in this mess? Because of the Glazers.
So
let's not forget all this. Just because you put lipstick on a pig doesn't mean I can't see the pig through that lipstick. So I see right through you, Glazers. But with that, guys, thanks for hanging with us on this podcast. We'll be back once Paul returns from his much-needed vacation, and we'll keep you posted on all stuff happening there. But until then, I have been Andy. Paul has been Paul. With that, I'm wishing you all a big old bye.
Bye.